They said it was just another youth basketball camp. No lights, no trophies, just a few kids chasing dreams on a small gym floor. But that night, something wild happened. A rivalry was born. One crossover that made the crowd lose its mind and the internet explode. Let's rewind to the NEO Youth Elite Camp, 2017. A packed gym in Ohio, filled with scouts, cameras, and teenage hoopers trying to prove they belonged. Among them stood two names that would soon light up YouTube, Julian Newman and Jaythan Bosch. Julian was already a viral sensation. He wasn't just a player, he was a brand. Since middle school, his flashy handles and deep threes had made headlines on Ballast Life and Overtime. He was the kid who played varsity ball at age 11, the one ESPN couldn't stop showing off. Every dribble felt like a statement. I'm built for the spotlight. On the other end stood Jaythan Bosch, calm, quiet, and unknown. No TV features, no highlight reels, no hype machine. He was just another kid in the gym. But what people didn't know was that Bosch had been studying Newman for months, watching his tapes, tracking his moves. He came to that camp for one reason, to challenge the king of the internet. The crowd that day wasn't just there to watch. They were waiting for a showdown. And when the organizers finally matched them up, the gym erupted. Phones came out. Cameras started rolling. Everyone knew this was about to go viral. The first few possessions were all Newman. Crossovers, spin moves, step backs, the kind of stuff he'd done 1,000 times before. Each move came with a little smirk, a little swagger. You could feel the energy. Julian wanted to remind everyone that this was his court. But Bosch? He didn't flinch. He kept his eyes locked on Newman's chest, reading every fake, every hesitation. Then it happened. One quick dribble to the left, a hard cross to the right, and Julian slipped. The crowd gasped. Newman hit the floor, and Bosch rose up, pulling back for a jumper that splashed through the net. For a moment, time froze. The gym exploded. Kids were jumping, yelling, phones flying in the air. That single crossover, that single shot, turned Jaythan Bosch from a nobody into a legend overnight. For Bosch, that moment wasn't luck. It was months of unseen grind, early mornings, empty gyms, and endless drills when no one was watching. While the crowd saw a single highlight, his teammates knew the truth. He'd been preparing for this exact moment, waiting for his chance to be noticed. It wasn't just a move. It was a statement. That moment spread across every basketball page on social media. Jaythan Bosch breaks Julian Newman's ankles. Clips racked up millions of views. Even people who'd never watched youth basketball were suddenly invested. It wasn't about who won the game. It was about who owned the moment. From that day, the internet divided. Team Newman versus Team Bosch. One side said Julian was still the more skilled, more decorated player. The other claimed Bosch exposed the hype. And honestly, that tension is what made it unforgettable. Behind the scenes, though, there was more to it. Newman wasn't used to being challenged like that. Everywhere he played, people cheered for him. He was the prodigy, the showman, the face of viral basketball. So when someone finally stood toe-to-toe and outshined him, even just for a few plays, it hit hard. But that's what made it so real, because this wasn't scripted. No coaches calling plays, no ESPN cameras telling a story. Just two teenagers fighting for respect on a wooden floor. Jaythan Bosch didn't gloat after the game. He didn't post a victory speech or taunt anyone online. He just walked off quietly, knowing that clip would speak for itself. And it did. The video spread everywhere. Instagram reels, Facebook pages, YouTube compilations. Millions watched it again and again, zooming in, replaying that exact crossover in slow motion. The moment even inspired countless remixes, reactions, and debates. It was more than basketball. It became internet history. The craziest part? That matchup wasn't even an official tournament or high school championship. It was a youth camp, a place meant for learning and growth. Yet, it became one of the most watched amateur basketball clips of all time. No scoreboards, no stats, just raw emotion. After that viral moment, both players went in different directions. Julian Newman continued his spotlight journey, starring in Hello Newmans and chasing his dream of playing professionally. His father, Jamie Newman, kept pushing the family's media brand, and Julian remained a polarizing figure. Some called him overrated, others called him inspiring. But no one could ignore him. He'd already done what 99% of young players couldn't: make the world watch. Jaythan Bosch, meanwhile, took a quieter path. He stayed focused on the game itself. He later played at Daytona State College and developed into a more traditional point guard. No fancy cameras, no viral dances, just pure basketball. His journey wasn't about fame. It was about proving that fundamentals could still win respect in an age ruled by flash. In interviews years later, Bosch spoke about how that moment didn't define him. It just motivated him. He wanted people to see beyond the viral clip and understand his dedication to improving every single day. That humility made fans admire him even more. But what's fascinating is how both players represent two sides of modern basketball culture. Julian, the internet icon, all flair and spotlight. Jaythan, the quiet grinder, all substance and discipline. Their clash wasn't just a game. It was a mirror showing how the basketball world had changed. Talent meets hype, fundamentals meet flash. People still debate it to this day. Who really won? Who had the better game overall? There's no official box score, no referees' records, no stat sheet to end the argument. All that exists are a few minutes of footage, crowd reactions, and memories that refuse to fade. And that's what makes it legendary. Because real basketball magic isn't always in championships or NBA contracts. Sometimes it's in a single moment, a flash that lights up social media, makes millions talk, and inspires a new generation to hit the court. If you go online today, you'll still find that clip reposted under captions like "Iconic Rivalry," "Best Youth Matchup Ever," or "When Confidence Met Humility." It's been viewed tens of millions of times across platforms, every time reminding fans what made it special. Julian Newman, the fearless prodigy. Jaythan Bosch, the silent challenger. Both teenagers, both dreamers. And that night, they created one of the most talked about moments in youth basketball history. For some, it was a changing of the guard, the fall of flash to fundamentals. For others, it was just proof that even legends can be humbled. But for everyone who watched, it was unforgettable. Even now, clips resurface every few months, reigniting the debate. Would Bosch beat Newman again? Did the hype hurt or help Julian's career? Questions that might never have answers, and maybe that's the beauty of it, because mystery keeps legends alive. Some say if that game happened today, with both players grown and matured, the result might be different. Others believe the original will never be topped. One thing's certain, that moment turned both kids into symbols of what basketball really is: passion, pride, and a little bit of chaos. And that's why this story still hits. Because deep down, it wasn't just about basketball. It was about every underdog who ever faced someone more famous, every dreamer who wanted to prove they belong, and every fan who's ever believed that one moment can change everything. Crazy how one camp game turned into a piece of internet history, right? It just shows all it takes is one fearless move to change your story forever. If you loved reliving this wild rivalry, drop a comment with who you think really owned that matchup. Hit like, share it with your basketball squad, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe. We've got more unbelievable moments coming your way.